Baby, I'ma leave you on red. Yeah, I know you want me. You better get in line. I'm everybody's dream girl.
Hello and welcome to Here for the Chaos episode 9. I am your host, Lilac. We're almost in the double digits. Thank you to everyone that has been subscribing. Again, I thought I was gonna get like 20 views per video, 10 views per video, and y'all have just been out here. I mean, we already are almost at 300 subscribers. What more do you need me to say? How do I make this a poorly timed Jonas Brothers reference? Because my sub count is almost 300. A lot has changed and I'm not underwater because I can't swim. You can send this to your granddaughter so she can sub unless she's a minor. Yeah, we talk about way too much on here for little kids to be on here, so sorry. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Listen to my new song. As always, let me know your green screen recommendations and anything you want me to talk about in the comments below. I'm really mad because I put like 60,000 earrings in and I forgot that I wear headphones so you don't get to see them. So just pretend that they're there. Pretend they are designer like Gucci or what's another one? I only shop at Ross, so I really don't know. Pretend that they are Balenciaga. Do they make earrings? Louboutin. Pretend they're some kind of designer brand that isn't racist. Whatever one is not racist, that's the one that they are, and they look great. Disclaimer again, I think my camera lens has a crack on it, so I'm trying to get it figured out because I got a warranty. Your girl's smart. Not college educated, but I got a warranty. So it may be blurry for some parts. Okay, I check it like 60,000 times before I start recording and it looks good, but I'm really far away. So sometimes it goes out of focus. I'm sorry, I don't know what to tell you. So we're just gonna get into it because wow. We're talking about Danny Masterson, trigger warning for sexual abuse. And I'm just gonna let you know right now, I'm gonna try my best to not get upset because this is a very upsetting topic. Before we get into Danny Masterson, I wanted to go into the comment section of my last video because when it came to Ashley Elliott, who is the TikTok combat jail lady, for anyone who doesn't know, Ashley Elliott is a TikToker with 15 million. She made videos doing her hair in military fashion because she's in the military. She made a hair gel off of it. She had her husband in her videos. They have adorable children. They are so cute. And yeah, that's really all you need to know about that. I got a lot wrong and I appreciate y'all telling me that kindly. There was one person in particular I want to take the time to apologize to because I got really defensive. I'm gonna have a vulnerable moment with you guys right now and just let you know that again, I'm having kind of a rough time. I overwork myself. My entire department just got laid off and I have other side jobs, but they definitely don't pay the bills. The Vegas job market is crazy. It can feel to me like this podcast is all that I have and I can be defensive about it. Now is my learning lesson. Here's a moment of accountability that we desperately miss from most people on the internet. I am sorry that I did not do better research. I don't want anyone to think that I don't do any research. I actually have like a full Mila note of research that I do for these episodes, but I'm a small, very new one-person channel. I am not like some of these big channels that have whole teams that can verify their research. Sometimes mistakes are going to happen and I do apologize. I apologize to that commenter and I apologize to Ashley Elliott. And I got my Eco Style gel to hold me down for this update. So maybe it should be combat gel. The TikTok that I inserted for reference was like 99.99999% inaccurate. And I even said in the video, I was inserting as many TikToks as I could because I was trying to figure it out and I never quite got there. While I'm not a journalist, I am talking about people's lives. So I do need to be more careful. Sorry, I thought I saw a spider. I was about to freak out. So I do need to be more careful with the way that I handle things. And I am still figuring out the best way to research. But in the meantime, I'm going to let her explain the situation in this TikTok that I found that I should have included in the first one.
I had every intention of keeping the details of my marriage private. Yes, I did hint to you guys that I wasn't okay and my marriage wasn't okay. Did I share any details? No. And the reason I even let you guys in just a little bit was to show that I'm real with real problems. The last thing I want to be is a content creator who only shows all the perfect moments because that's not real. And I wanted people to know if they're going through something, they're not alone. Now, with all that being said, there are a few things I would like to address. And then after that, you guys, I need to protect my peace and log off. Number one, you guys will never catch me bashing my family on the internet. And whether my husband is my husband or my ex-husband, he is my family. Number two, I have never in my life bullied or targeted somebody on social media. I did not make one post about this person. And majority of these posts that I made were before I even knew she existed. Did I put on a black wig because of this person? No. Did I make posts about my daughter because of this person? No. Before I even knew she existed, I made a post on my Facebook that said, be the woman you'd want your daughter to be. And that was before I even knew she existed. I said that because I was going through something internally, and I thought to myself, how would I want my daughter to handle this as a woman? And that brings me comfort because it helps me make a decision based off of how I would want my daughter to feel and how I'd want her to be treated. Now, when I found out about this person, I blocked her on social media. So the fact that she has been able to still screenshot all my stuff is very concerning to me. And the reason I blocked her was to protect my peace. I did not want to see anything she had going on. I didn't know if she had daughters, sons. I didn't know anything about her. And the last thing I want to address is this narrative that I forced my husband to make videos. I know that we've always had that role where he was annoyed and I was the one who enjoyed the videos. And that was agreed upon. Social media is bringing us in $20,000 a month. And that's aside from the business. And I've never put the numbers out there like that, but I need you guys to know that this provides for our family. This has made us debt free. This has made us financially free. I have never forced anybody to be in a video with me. And he even offered to continue making videos with me even if we're no longer together. And I respectfully declined. So am I this evil person that forced her husband into doing something he didn't want to do? No, this is quite literally a job, just like any other job that might get in the way of a relationship. You guys are telling me that I've let an app ruin my marriage. I wanted to keep this information private. I wanted to work this out in my marriage, but somebody wanted their 15 minutes of fame and they got it. I reached out to her and I apologized for the backlash she was getting from my followers. And I told her personally that none of my posts had anything to do with her. And then she continued to say that I was targeting her and bullying her. And I know y'all don't know me personally, but anybody that knows me in real life knows that's just not me. That has never been me. I have never bullied anybody a day in my life. I know I sound irritated and it's because I am, but at the same time, I understand that I have put so much of my life out there on social media and a moment like this was bound to happen and I'm gonna take it on the chin. But one thing I just cannot tolerate is people speaking bad about my family, and my husband is my family. Whether we work this out or not, he is my family. I still have 2 children to take care of. I still have a job to do. And I know this has all been just entertainment for everybody, but this is my life. And I didn't want to even address this or entertain this, but I reflected on it. I thought about it. And because I have so many people that are there for me and that are concerned about my well-being right now, I will make a video to address it. And the last way I want you guys to show your support is by bullying this person or threatening this person. I don't want that. I don't want that. I have nothing against her. I'm irritated that I'm being lied on. I have nothing against her. None of this is her fault. What's going on in my life and in my marriage is not her fault. This is something me and my husband need to figure out. And I wanted so badly to keep so much of this information private, but I wasn't given that opportunity. But that's the life I chose, I guess.
I got this story all kinds of wrong. It was portrayed to me that this person was forcing their partner on camera to make videos, which caused tension, which led to an emotional affair with the S worker, Monique. Just feels like one of those names you have to snap after, you know? What was actually explained to me was that Ashley, Elliot's husband, was fully down to be a part of the videos. It was bringing in income, specifically $20K a month for them. So your girl really needs to get on TikTok or get a Patreon or something because we broke over here. It was fully consensual for him to be in the videos until they started getting recognized in public. People started walking up to them and he did not like that. At which point she stopped the videos and started the process of taking them down. I did not know that. I thought he was being forced there, and really, I know some of you guys are probably like, that's a pretty basic part of the story. How did you not know it? And I just got this one wrong. I really did. He was okay with it until he wasn't, which is fine. You're allowed to change your mind. And when he did, she respected that. He, in the interim of this, decided that he wanted to get emotional support from an S worker. So he was having an emotional affair. It was not physical. The man in her bed that was shown in that video was not her husband. although I see why the internet thought that. They do look similar. They really do. But they're not the same person. They never met up in person. It was just an affair that happened via messages, and he was looking for emotional support outside of his marriage. I don't encourage that, obviously. I think he is completely wrong, and I also apologize to Ashley for thinking that she airs too much out, because it seemed like she really did try to keep it all under wraps until the choice was taken from her and it was exposed and she had to make a statement about it. Monique outed herself completely. I knew she had outed herself, obviously, but I thought that because that video, in some way she had been provoked. It said she was calling Ashley out for bullying and all that kind of stuff. I didn't even know that Ashley had not said a word, had not even said Monique's name a single time. She was trying to keep it offline because it's her relationship and she cares about her husband. As she said, that doesn't just go away. And I respect that. I do still think we overshare. And I think when you post on TikTok as much as she does, I mean, she has 15 million. You got to be posting quite a bit to get to that. You're going to overshare. It's like, FouseyTube going live 25/8. You're going to overshare sometimes, and maybe it's helping people. Maybe that vulnerability is good. And if it is, more power to you. But I personally think the I got cheated on, so TikTok should verify me post was a bit much. Yeah, I just do. Thank you for giving me the patience and grace and constructive criticism. I will learn from it going forward. So now we're going to move on to Danny Masterson. I'm a victim of multiple SAs and Rs resulting in CPTSD. So this is a very difficult topic for me. If I start to get too emotional, I will obviously make cuts, but I'm probably going to get angry, just so you know. So I knew Danny Masterson from that 70s show, which is something my mom used to watch all the time when I was growing up. And I never really watched much of it, but I remember that I thought Donna, the redhead who went on to be in Orange is the New Black, was really pretty. And Mila Kunis, well, I have a problem with you in this video, girl, was really pretty. And then Danny Masterson, who played Hyde, I was too young to really form a decision, but I do remember that I thought he was creepy. But honestly, no offense to anyone born in the 70s, but the 70s was a little bit of a creepy time. I mean, all the fashion was just brown and yellow and plaid, which is my nightmare. And everyone just had all this weird, aggressive facial hair. And I have no problem with facial hair. My man has facial hair, but y'all had it in weird ways. I'm sorry. It was just creepy time. I'm not saying everyone from the 70s was a creeper, but 70s was creepy times. A source on set also said that people didn't really like him on set. He came off like a cult leader, pretty spot on when, he went on to become a Scientologist, and he forced everyone to bend to his will. He's basically like one of those people that's not a manager at your job that thinks they're a manager and wants to tell everyone what to do all the time. Like, can you just flip the buns like I am? Because last time I checked, we're in the same rank and you're 20 years older than me. So we're going to read some articles about it so I can be as informed on this as possible, because this is really a wild ride. Danny Masterson was sentenced to 30 years to life in prison for R-wording 2 women. He was actually accused by a third woman who's going to be very important later in the story, who dated him for 5 years from 1995, I believe, to 2000 while he was in his peak on that 70s show. And she accused him of R-word as well. Basically, the court excused it because they were in a relationship at the time. And let me just tell you this, you can absolutely get R-worded and attacked and assaulted by your partner. It's 2023. The fact that we still think that is crazy to me. Like, you really think that human beings that are capable of these horrendous things would be like, well, I guess they're my partner. I don't have enough basic respect to respect other strangers and violate them. But I guess I have that level of self-restraint with someone else. Excuse you, girl, pay for a cameo. They don't. People who R-word are gonna R-word, whether it's in a relationship or not. Ridiculous court system. So this People article says, Danny Masterson, 47, was sentenced September 7th to 30 years to life in prison for R-wording 2 women at his Hollywood Hills home in the early 2000s. It's been a long time coming for them to get their justice, Los Angeles County Deputy District Attorney, that's a mouthful, Reynold Mueller tells People in an interview. The fact that he got that sentence sentencing, it must have been pretty egregious. I have gone to detectives and police for my own situations, and they didn't take me seriously at all. Not even when I was physically harmed and had the marks to show it. Wasn't taken seriously, didn't even make it to court. It's very, very hard to get a conviction on these cases. It's very hard to get a fair sentence outside of just like, you know, celebrities getting 1 year probation or something stupid like that. It is extremely hard to take this to court, to get a conviction. The fact that he got this kind of sentence, it must have been bad. And I feel so heartbroken for these women. Mueller says the judge's prison sentence was absolutely the right decision. Masterson was charged in 2020 with forcibly R-wording 3 women in separate incidents between 2001 and 2003. And good on the victims for pursuing this over 20 years at this point. That's got to be so grueling to live with that. I mean, I know I live with mine every day. And for you to have the strength to keep going through this against a powerful figure that's going to have a better attorney, going to have better resources. Good for you. I'm proud of those women, and we all should be proud of those women, and I hope they can heal from this. Masterson, whose previous prosecution for R-wording 3 women ended in a mistrial in 2022, which was again when they said, well, you're in a relationship, so clearly he can't be awful to you. Abuse doesn't happen in relationships. It only happens with strangers. Get real. Mueller says Masterson was consistent in the manner in which he forcibly R-worded each of his victims. He surreptitiously the victims. What is the pattern with this between old boy Bill Cosby and listen, I was about to say something that would have definitely got me a cease and desist, so let me just stop. Well, here's my thing. Whew, definitely have a boobie flying out. Never good. Here's my thing. Sex is supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be like, please allow a dramatic reenactment of how S is supposed to go. Wow, you're like really hot physically and mentally, but like physically, damn. And then the other person is supposed to go, whoa, that's crazy because I also find you physically hot. I mean, obviously in my situation, I would also prefer to be emotionally, you know, attracted to them, but that's not the scenario. Sorry, back into character. Whoa, I also find you very physically attractive. Should we bump parts? You know?
Roses are red. Violets are blue. Yo.
There's roses. Maybe there's a little snacky snack for the end. There's like a little Gatorade to get them electrolytes back up after you done working out. Wink, wink. You're supposed to go to another dimension for a couple of minutes and have a great time. And I know it's a mental illness, but why would you want to have sex with someone who doesn't want to have sex with you or is not conscious? That doesn't sound fun at all. It sounds horrible. I don't know if it's a need for control. I'm not sure what the deal is, but whatever sick, twisted instinct in you makes it that you have to have sex when it's completely under your control is very fucking weird. And it sounds like a bad time. He surreptitiously the victims using an alcoholic beverage, which is why whenever you go out anywhere, men, women, gays, theys, whatever you identify as, you check your drinks when you go out. You make sure you have your drink in your hand the entire time. You don't take drinks from people, and you make sure your drink is within your eye line and your eyesight at all times. Make sure your friends are good. Make sure strangers are good. We are not out here being unsafe anymore. We are checking our surroundings and we are being aware of what's going on around us. He surreptitiously drugged the victims using an alcoholic beverage as the vehicle for administration and then forcibly R-worded them, and they became incapacitated. Whoa, I'm getting tears behind my eyes. This is making me really mad and emotional. He says, this afforded him the opportunity to obtain control, and there it is, and dominance over his victims as he carried out his forcible assault. If you need control like that, you're sick, and get therapy. Whatever happened in your life that made you feel like you have to have this level of control, whether it be you experiencing abuse yourself or whatever, get help for it and stop taking it out on other people. Get a grip. Celebrities baffle me more. I'm not excusing quote unquote regular sexual abusers, but celebrities, you can get sex whenever you want. You don't even have to be that good looking most of the time. There are people that will literally just be like, oh, you're on TV? I'll do it. It baffles me. It blows my mind why you feel like you have to take it. Like it's this item that you have to take when people would give it to you. There are supermodels that would give it to you. There are beautiful, gorgeous, amazing women that would give it to you. But something in your sick little head is like, no, I gotta take it. You're scary, and I'm glad you got the sentence you got. There was no toxicology analysis done to verify what the victims were allegedly with, but Mueller says our suspicion is that the drug used was GHB, based largely on the nature of the consistent symptoms experienced and rapid onset. And may I just say, for the naysayers, because there are naysayers that are saying, well, the evidence is circumstantial. Go fuck yourself. Sometimes I feel like people literally feel like they have to be in the room to witness it, or there has to be a camera in the room to witness it. And even when there has been, people still haven't been convicted correctly. So go fuck yourself. We did have an experienced toxicologist testify to the typical nature and side effects of various date rape drugs that commonly existed within the social scene during the time period of when these rapes occurred, he says. She was asked hypothetical questions that presented similar facts, circumstances, and adverse reactions that were experienced by these victims after consuming an alcoholic beverage furnished by the defendant. She then testified to her expert opinion that the physical and mental symptoms experienced by these victims is not consistent with the consumption of the amount of alcohol alone. So now, the victims speak out. Mueller believes that Masterson always thought he was going to get away with it. Before Masterson was sentenced, the women gave victim impact statements. For the victim impact statements, I also want to give the biggest trigger warning. I know I already gave one at the beginning of the video, but I had to stop a few times editing this because it was making me very emotional. I was crying through it. So if you need to skip, you know I have the chapters down below for you. Do not try to power through this. It is rough. When you R-worded me, you stole from me, wrote one victim, an actress whom Masterson invited to his home in the fall of 2003. In a statement she read, "You relish in hurting women. It is your addiction." Ooh. I felt like a part of me was stolen as well. I felt like garbage. I felt like not a human. I felt like a plaything. I'm gonna stop before I get too emotional, but that is triggering for me. For anyone else experiencing this, just want to take a quick break because my leg is shaking. I'm getting all heated. I want you all to close your eyes with me and take a deep breath in, out. One more, in, out. And just know, if you have experienced anything like this, I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. I hope you healed. I hope the person that caused pain to you gets the karma they deserve. It is not your fault, which is one of the main reasons I love Swoop as the creator. If you don't watch her, go watch her. She's adamant about this. It is not your fault. Whatever time, whatever resources, whatever emotions you need to feel about what happened to you, you do whatever you need. Don't feel guilty. You didn't deserve it. It is not because of what you wore or how you acted or what you said. You didn't deserve it, and you heal in the way that you need to, and you get rid of everybody around you that doesn't understand that, including family. In fact, a lot of family is actually the one that be doing a lot of the abuse. And it's a crazy world out here, it really is. "You wanted my light," she said. "You steal women's radiance. You treated us like we were less than trash beneath you. But deep down, you coveted precisely those beautiful things in us that you could not find in yourself. You are pathetic, disturbed, and extremely violent, and the world is safer with you in prison." I have chills. You better go the fuck off. And what I love about this is she's not calling him all these horrible things. She is reading him to filth with eloquence and telling him about himself. Said that she was born into the church, and during her victim impact statement, she followed the policy when she was a member not to report her R word to outside authorities because there are consequences. "It was the only community I knew my whole life until I was R worded by Mr. Masterson. He was a celebrity and therefore heavily protected by the science enthusiasts." She said that after she went to the LAPD, she was deemed an enemy of the group and lost the ability to be in contact with every person she'd ever known or loved, and seriously considered unaliving herself. This is why victims don't want to come forward. It's disgusting. Leah Remini is actually one of the most prominent critics of the church. She was there, and she said she's relieved that this dangerous R-wordist will be off the streets and unable to violently and R-word women with the help of Scientology, a multi-billion-dollar criminal organization with tax-exempt status. You better preach, girl. Mueller praised the bravery of the women who came forward. "I know they did it at a cost," he says. "There's a lot of reasons that people are afraid to come forward. Me, I was called a liar by everyone I knew, basically. I was called an idiot. I was told that I deserved it. I was told all kinds of things. And this is on a regular, quote-unquote, normal person level. I can't even imagine at a celebrity level when you know that people ride for celebrities and have these parasocial relationships and are probably going to come after you." Many of the allegations against Masterson first surfaced in March 2017 when the LAPD's Robbery Homicide Division confirmed an investigation was taking place into sexual assault allegations against the actor. After the allegations came to light, Masterson was removed from the Netflix series The Ranch, which he appeared on alongside former That 70s Show co-star Ashton Kutcher. And we're gonna get into you, Ashton and Mila. Masterson's defense attorney, Sean Holy said in a statement to People after the verdict that he will appeal. For the past several months, a team of the top, appellate lawyers in the country has been reviewing the transcripts of the trial. They have identified a number of significant evidentiary and constitutional issues, which they will address in briefs to both the state and federal appellate courts. I don't care. He was already convicted. Boohoo, bitch. Get over it. And I think that for him to get convicted the way he did, that motherfucker did it. The same errors which occurred in this case are substantial and unfortunately led to verdicts which are not supported by the evidence. Bullshit. And though we have great respect for the jury, obviously not, in this case, and for our system of justice overall, sometimes they get it wrong. And that's what happened here. Mr. Masterson did not commit the crimes for which he has been convicted, and we and the appellate lawyers and the best and the brightest in the country. Oh, do I need to read this in my bullshittery voice? Are confident that these convictions will be overturned. Could have kept that one in the drafts. I feel like that should be the new name of my podcast. Keep that one in the drafts. Now we're gonna get into Ashton Kutcher and Mila freaking Kunis, because these two are people that have been very well respected in the public eye. They actually met on That 70s Show when she was 14, he was 19. There's some weird stuff happening. We'll get to that later. And Ashton Kutcher does a lot of work for human trafficking. He does a lot to advocate for victims of sexual assaults with the organization Thorn. Editing me here, I just wanted to step in and say that Ashton Kutcher has actually resigned from his role at Thorn after the backlash from this situation. So in case y'all were wondering how serious it is, it was serious. People were very shocked when they found out what him and Mila did for Danny in this case. They wrote character witness letters in favor of Danny, and we're going to talk about them. People were particularly disappointed in Ashton for this because they were like, how could you advocate for victims but then invalidate these victims? We should have known something was wrong when the two said they don't bathe. It was obvious that the two thought that these letters were not going to get out into the public eye, but they did. So boo-hoo, and they've addressed it too. And you know that them addressing it was bad. You already know it was. So here is Ashton Kutcher's. His name's Christopher? Damn, I didn't know that. Christopher Kutcher? Ashton was the right choice. Christopher sounds weird. He said, Honorable Judge Olmedo. My name is Ashton Kutcher. I am an actor, investor, philanthropist, and most importantly, a father. I met Danny Masterson when I was 20 years old in 1998. He instantly became a friend, dedicated coworker, and role model to me. Role model? He's a Scientologist. That should tell you everything you need to know right there. And don't come for me, Scientologists. Don't copyright this video or do some weird voodoo. And since YouTube doesn't like me to say the word Scientologist, from now on, I'm going to say science enthusiasts. No, not Bill Nye. Bill. And he has remained as such for 25 years. It's okay to let your friends go. As a friend, Danny has been nothing but a positive influence on me, okay? He's an extraordinarily honest and intentional human being. Yes, he is intentional in his R words, you're right. Over 25-year relationship, you have a typo. Oh, Ashty, you have a typo. Over 25-year relationship, I didn't ever recall him lying to me. He's taught me about being direct and confronting issues in life and relationships head on, resolving them and moving forward. Danny is a person that is consistently there for you when you need him. We've traveled around the world together, raised our daughters together, and shared countless family moments. Not only is he a good friend to me, I've witnessed him be a good friend to others and the kind of brother others would be lucky to have. Here's the thing, before I get to more of this. It's like people think that rapists and murderers and people who commit heinous crimes are supposed to look like monsters. It's actually why one of my favorite books in the entire world is The Picture of Dorian Gray, because in that book, the way that you react affects your outward appearance. So the uglier you are on the inside, the uglier you get on the outside. And sometimes I wish that's how life worked. These people that do these things are not some wild mountain beast. They're regular people who are capable of being nice. Serial killers have been nice. I've watched interviews and interrogations where a serial killer can be, oh, yes, please. Oh, no, thank you. I hope you're having a good day. They're not monsters all the time. They're not showing you that monster side because he doesn't want to R-word you. He's not attracted to you. You don't see that side of him. And I'm tired of people thinking just because I've seen this person in a certain way means that they must be just the person I know them as 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365. It doesn't work that way. People that do do horrible things, look and act and are like normal quote unquote people until they do these things. They're not walking around with a sign that's like, I like to forcibly R-word people. Have some emotional intelligence. He said, as a role model, which they say multiple times in this, Danny has consistently been an excellent one. I attribute not falling into the typical Hollywood life of drugs directly to Danny. Oh, really? Because he was promoting the life of drugs unwillingly without consent to other people. Anytime that we were to meet someone or interact with someone who was on drugs or did drugs, he made it clear that that wouldn't be a good person to be friends with. Oh, really? Great. And for me, that was an implication that if I were to do drugs, he wouldn't want to be friends with me, which is something I never would want to risk or jeopardize. Why are you kissing the ground this man walks on? I am grateful to him for the positive peer pressure. Interesting way to word that. He has also set an extraordinary standard around how you treat other people. I would use the word infamous, not extraordinary. There was an incident where we were at a pizza parlor and a belligerent man entered who was berating his girlfriend. We had never met or seen these people before, but Danny was the first person to jump to the defense of this girl. Sorry if my bullshit voice kicks in. This is just bullshit. It was an incident he didn't have to get involved in, but proactively chose to because the way this man was behaving was not right. He has always treated people with decency, equality, and generosity. No. After 9/11, Danny was a huge advocate for support of the firefighters affected by the event, rallying his friends and coworkers to pitch in however they could. Bad people aren't bad people all the time. I'm gonna get real close to the mic for this, so just so we know. Bad people aren't bad people all the time. They're capable of doing good things some of the time. That's actually why they're able to be bad people, because they overcompensate and make you think, oh my God, this person does charity work. How could he rape someone? A lot of bad people, not all of them, but a lot are very intelligent and know that if they put that trust in you, you won't see it as the smokescreen it is, and you'll let them get away with their bad behavior. I just want to let you know that my ear cuffs are getting sweaty because I'm getting so mad. Either that or it's the Eco Gel, which logging it down. Danny had his daughter a year before I had mine. He set a standard of being a hands-on dad. We've spent countless hours together with our kids, and he is among few people that I would trust to be alone with my son and daughter. You shouldn't. He's also a dedicated and loyal husband with unwavering commitment to his wife. I wouldn't be surprised if the wife had some instances of abuse herself. And if she's in the club of science enthusiasts, the women there take the brunt of a lot of their ritualistic shit and are okay with it because they see it as dedicating themselves to the religion. In fact, one of the women who came forward, her mother was a Scientologist, and now because of this trial and because she spoke her truth, she no longer talks to her daughter. She cut off her daughter, who was R-worded, over the stupid group of science enthusiasts. It's also been speculated that this took so long because the group of science enthusiasts was doing everything they could and pulling in every connect to get this to go away, and they did for a long time. We have spent hundreds of hours working together. You think he's gonna R-word someone on set? Is that what you think? You think he's gonna go in front of the camera with all those witnesses and all those people and R-word someone? Is that what you're saying? Because you have hundreds of working hours. He's at work. You think an R-wordist is just gonna be like, all right, action, and then start assaulting somebody? Danny takes his job seriously. He is kind, courteous, and hardworking. He treated everyone from the grips to the teamsters to the actors to the caterers as equals. But did he treat the women that way? He showed up on time all the time and always pulled his weight. We have also traveled around the world together. You already said that, promoting our work. I can honestly say that no matter where we were or who we were with, I never saw my friend be anything other than a guy I have described. The R words took place with just him and this person. You know why? Because he wants a situation where he can have the control. He's not just gonna go feral and start mauling a lady in front of you, Ashton. Have some common sense. He said, while I'm aware that the judgment has been cast as guilty on 2 counts of R, should be 3 in my opinion, by force, and the victims have a great desire for justice, I hope that my testament to his character is taken into consideration in sentencing. I do not believe he is an ongoing harm to society. He R-worded 3 people. What? He R-worded 3 people. If you're saying that he did this and advocating for the victims in this last part, a shred of you has to believe that he did this. So that would mean that he's actually not the person that you've known for 25 years. And I know there's some part deep down in Ashton and Mila's minds that knows that he did this, and he's not the person you know, so you don't know if he would be an ongoing harm or not. I do not believe he is an ongoing harm to society, and having his daughter raised without a present father would a tertiary injustice. You really didn't proofread this. And having his daughter raised without a present father would a tertiary injustice in and of itself would be he means. Thank you for taking the time to read this. The judge wasted their time reading this. The best. Blah, blah, blah. Now, here's what I want to say before I get to Mila Kunis's letter. It has been alleged that Danny Masterson has been gross since the beginning. There's actually an interview with him and Mila Kunis when they were way younger, where he talked about how Danny Masterson met Mila Kunis when she was 14 on set with the rest of them, when Ashton Kutcher was 19, and made a bet with this scene they have where they were kissing, which was her first kiss, by the way, that he should stick his tongue down her throat and make out with her. And Mila Kunis was 14. And she even admitted to being scared during this time.
You know what's funny is when she was 14 when we started the show. I was like 19, right?
Right.
And they're like, okay, you guys are going to be making out in this scene. And I'm like thinking like, wait, this is like slightly illegal,
that's
right?
probably your first kiss ever, right?
He was my first kiss. Where's some bet you made with Danny about our first kiss?
No, it wasn't the first kiss. It was like a second or third kiss.
It was the first. It was like the first week.
No, it was not the first week.
Whatever. Let me tell you what happened.
No, let me tell you what happened.
No. Okay, so I've never kissed a guy. So I was so. I mean, you know, Ash was attractive, and I was a 14-year-old little girl, and I was extremely scared for my life.
Sure.
And he was very nice about it. He was like, "Oh, don't worry." So I was like, "Okay." Then Danny goes and goes, "Dude, I'll give you $10 if you French kiss her." What would you stick your tongue in my mouth or some?
What? No.
For $10.
You're making it sound like it was like really. Okay, Dan, we had a little side bet going.
Yeah.
Like,
which was?
It wasn't very
as to whether or not, you're kissing on the show or boyfriend and girlfriend.
Yeah.
You would use tongue, right, Rosie? I mean, you would. It
depends what kind of an actor you are, I guess.
Absolutely, right?
Yeah.
So Danny bets me like $20 that I wouldn't do it, and of course I'm like, yeah, sure. What's the deal? You know?
Then the cop showed up and you got arrested, pretty much.
They should have,
he
but
never
they didn't.
did it. And
I so did.
He claims to this day he did that. I swear.
Mila, I so did it.
He never did it.
I didn't let him. I think he tried, but I think it came my mouth so clear.
Come on.
Yeah. You did the old teeth block?
Yes.
Yeah, you didn't
let him do the teeth block. You were like,
He never got his tongue.
You were very
excited. You didn't, Ashton. Just admit it.
Dad, I swear.
She's 14. She didn't. You stop it.
That was not the first. You had turned 15 by then.
No, she was 12, but I know it.
There's a big difference. That 1 year makes the whole world change.
Rosie O'Donnell, who was the interviewer in this clip, has actually made a TikTok speaking about the situation. So I'm going to insert a little bit of it here because she was on point. She's an icon. We love her.
If I were Ashton Kutcher or Mila Kunis and my good friend of 25 years, so let me pick like a Ricky Lake, let's say, or a Madonna, I don't know. Someone that I've known and been around and am very close to and know their family and was accused of a heinous crime and convicted like Danny Masterson was, I would never write a letter supporting them. Period. End of subject. But I don't know what kind of relationship Danny had with Ashton and Mila. I really don't. And then I saw an episode of my show going around about Ashton talking about a bet he had with Danny about kissing Mila, and Mila was young and not of age. And then you see that other Ashton Kutcher thing talking about Hillary Duff saying, along with the Olsen twins, all of us can't wait till they turn 18. Like, just creepy, disgusting. Doesn't look good for Ashton Kutcher. Right? Doesn't. Just they pull up these things, it just coming out of his mouth too, And let's look into this thorn thing that he has for supposedly helping with sex trafficking. I'd like to know a little bit more about that, maybe.
And Ashton Kutcher, there's something with men and their friends where they literally are just like, boys are being boys, palling around. No. You put a 14-year-old in a position to have a fully grown adult's tongue down her throat for her first kiss, and you did actually witness him trying to instigate assault on set. So while you're saying, oh, he's so professional on set, well, he's trying to instigate assault on set in front of you, in front of your face. You're just too dense to realize it. And also, I want to put in this clip that everyone is putting in of Ashton Kutcher when he was on an MTV show, Punk'd. I never watched it, but this clip where he's talking about Hillary Duff and how he can't wait for her to turn 18.
Hillary Duff. I huff and I puff and I blow the duff down. Hillary Duff is in Lizzie McGuire. She also has an album out. She's going to be in a movie called Cheaper by the Dozen. And she's one of the girls that we're all waiting for to turn 18. along with the Olsen twins.
We all know Hilary Duff is fine as hell, but let me tell you something, sir. She was 15 at the time. You were 25. I'm in my 20s right now. If someone who's 19 came up to me and tried to flirt with me, I would quite literally start dry heaving and be like, get away from me. Respectfully, ew. And that's a legal consensual gap. But you're fiending over a 15-year-old and the Olsen twins who, as the Do We Know Them podcast pointed out, we watched them grow up as babies. So how long have you been lusting over them? And you're sick too. I think they're both weird. So now let's get to Mila's. To the Honorable Judge Olmedo, I don't know. I am writing this character letter on behalf of my dear friend, Danny Masterson, with whom I've had the privilege of sharing a significant part of my life where he tried to get you assaulted. My name is Mila Kunis, and I am an actress, and I believe it is essential to share the remarkable influence Danny has had on my life and the lives of others. I first met Danny during our time working together on That 70s Show where he tried to get you assaulted. And from the very beginning, I could sense this innate goodness and genuine nature. Then your moral compass and your vibe checker meter, whatever, is off. You need to get it recalibrated. And I feel like you feel that way because knowing how young you were in Hollywood, you probably got groomed your whole life and you probably came to think that this behavior was normal by Ashton too. Let's not forget that age gap. You feel like Danny is normal because of the people you have been around and the men you've been around when you were a child. And I hope you heal from that and someday realize why this is wrong. And then I hope y'all both take a bath after that. Actually, a shower. Don't be sitting in your filth. Throughout our time together, Danny has proven to be an amazing friend, confidant, and above all, an outstanding older brother figure to me. Okay. His caring nature and ability to offer guidance have been instrumental in my growth both personally and professionally. One of the most remarkable aspects of Danny's character is his unwavering commitment to discouraging the use of drugs. Why do we care? He's drugging people! Like, what? Why? I don't care. Also, it's like, he may not smoke weed, but he does rape. So, you know, well, which is worse? Like, really? His influence on me in this regard has been invaluable. In an industry where the pressures and temptations of substance use can be overwhelming, Danny played a pivotal role in drugging people. Oh, sorry, that's not what she said. In guiding me away from such destructive paths. His dedication to avoiding all substances has inspired not only me, but also countless others in our circle. Danny's steadfastness in promoting a drug-free lifestyle has been a guiding light in my journey through the entertainment world and has helped me prioritize my well-being and focus on making responsible choices. His genuine concern for those around him and his commitment to leading by example, the example of R-wording and assault, make him an outstanding role model and friend. Stop saying role model. Why are we calling him a role model? Is that the buzzword? Is that like, if the judge sees the word role model 6 times, then poof, that vanishes the sentence. Why are we saying role model so much? He obviously wasn't one. Danny's role as a husband and father to his daughter has been nothing short of extraordinary. Similar phrasing, y'all definitely wrote this together. Witnessing his interactions with his daughter has been heartwarming and enlightening, and I pray that nothing has happened to his daughter. He prioritizes his family, education, and happiness above all else. He does prioritize his happiness over everything else. He does prioritize what he wants over everything and everyone else. You're right about that, Mila. Demonstrating his unwavering commitment to being a loving and responsible parent. As a father, he leads by example, instilling in her values that reflect integrity, compassion, and respect for others. Moreover, Danny has consistently displayed a profound sense of responsibility and care for those around him. He demonstrates grace and empathy in every situation, be it within the entertainment industry or in our personal lives. His steady support and understanding presence make him a reliable source of guidance and comfort for all of us. Danny Masterson's warmth, humor, and positive outlook on life have been a driving force in shaping my character and the way I approach life's challenges. His unwavering, you've already used unwavering too many times, girl. Use another word. The both of you. His unwavering commitment to being an exceptional older brother figure to me has had a transformative impact on my life, instilling in me a sense of self-belief and encouraging me to aim for greatness, but all while maintaining a sense of humility. In conclusion, I wholeheartedly, wow, with your whole chest, huh? Vouch for Danny Masterson's exceptional character and the tremendous positive influence he's had on me and the people around him. He dedicated to leading a drug-free, nobody gives a damn if he's in dare. Ugh. Doesn't matter if you're sober, if you're still committing crimes. Drug-free life and the genuine care he extends to others make him an outstanding role model, there it is again, and friend. Please feel free to reach out if you require any further information or clarification. Sincerely, Mila Kunis. So, say it with me now. We all could have kept that one in the drafts. Y'all could have kept that in the drafts. Your friend is a piece of shit. Okay, my camera has been dying like crazy today, and I really have to finish this up. So if this last part is blurry, girl, please, girl, bye. So we're picking up where we left off. So the character statements. Actress Deborah Jo Rupp and actor Kurtwood Smith, who played Kitty and Red Foreman on That 70s Show, also wrote letters, as did actor Giovanni Ribisi. I don't know who Giovanni Ribisi is, but I actually really like Deborah Jo Rupp. I also like Kurtwood Smith, so that's really disappointing. But I'm sure they're all drinking the Scientology tea. I mean, I'm almost positive that's what's going on. And that's just very disappointing. So now we're going to watch Adam and Mia. Adam and Mia, who the fuck am I talking about? Ashton and Mila's statement.
We are aware of the pain that has been caused by the character letters that we wrote on behalf of Danny Masterson.
We support victims. We have done this historically through our work and will continue to do so in the future.
A couple months ago, Danny's family reached out to us and they asked us to write character letters to represent the person that we knew for 25 years, so that the judge could take that into full consideration relative to the sentencing.
The letters were not written to question the legitimacy of the judicial system or the validity of the jury's ruling.
They were intended for the judge to read and not to undermine the testimony of the victims or re-traumatize them in any way. We would never want to do that. And we're sorry if that has taken place.
Our heart goes out to every single person who's ever been a victim of sexual assault, sexual abuse, or rape.
Okay, and again, could have kept that one in the drafts. Obviously, the whole premise of that statement was, oops, we didn't know that this would go public. We were really banking on it being private. You completely meant to undermine the jury system and the victims, because if you weren't, you wouldn't call him this upstanding role model. Unacceptable. I think you should be ashamed and embarrassed. And if his family reaches out, you tell them no. If my friend was really in court over these issues, I would not write a support letter unless I truly 1000% in my heart knew, not believed, knew for a fact that they were being framed or something else more sinister was happening. I wouldn't do it. And also, people change. I think he's been displaying this behavior since you knew him on the set of That 70s Show. However, I've had friends that I've had since middle school that I thought would be in my wedding that I've cut off. People change. Kimchi, stop eating my earring. Sorry, we got cats in here yawning, eating earrings, all kinds of stuff. Kimchi! People change. He's obviously not gonna maul a woman in front of you. People change. Not an excuse, and you did undermine people, and that apology was lackluster, ill-rehearsed, because it was rehearsed. They're actors, let's not forget, and I don't buy it. Now we're gonna end on this one last note from Danny Masterson's ex-girlfriend, Chrissy Bixler, who was also one of the accusers, the one that they did not believe because they were in a relationship at the time. She posted on Instagram after all this came out. She said, "Dear Ashton, I know the secrets your role model keeps for you. Ones that would end you. Go girl, give us something. For the first time someone's given us something. Did you forget I was there? You were on speakerphone that night you called Danny on February 21st, 2001. She pulling the dates out. I heard everything. I heard the plan. In my opinion, you're just as sick as your mentor. Dear Mila, I pray you begin to process what you experienced as a child on that set. Your old interviews are very telling. I encourage everyone to watch them and decide for yourself what you hear and see. Do so before they get scrubbed from the internet. I also know what happened in Toronto and after. Question if that's what you view as a normal relationship with a big brother figure. Then I feel very sad for you, and I hope you consider getting into therapy. You all must forget I was there the whole time, those first 5 years of That 70s Show. I remember everything." Chills. She also said, Ashton and Danny always hated Topher badly. Topher was another actor on the set. He was the main actor of That 70s Show. Topher has never liked Danny. I learned this while doing my early reporting on then the allegations, now conviction, against Danny. Topher was bullied by Danny Masterson and isolated by most of the cast because Danny's like a cult leader. Danny hated Topher because Topher didn't bow to Danny like his other young castmates. I loved Topher. If I so much as said hi to Topher, I would be given a scolding and then ignored by Danny. It broke my heart. He was the only guy on that set with integrity and a moral compass. That's my experience. I was there. I had actually heard that Topher was the issue and that people didn't like him. But apparently that was rhetoric that was spread amongst the people who love Danny because Topher didn't like Danny. So there was some smear campaigns happening. Now, what was she referring to when she was referring to Danny Masterson keeping secrets? Ashton Kutcher was dating someone in 2001 casually who was unfortunately unalived in a violent way by a serial killer, which is freaking crazy. The Hollywood Ripper, otherwise known as Michael Garguglio, has been sentenced to death for the brutal murder murders of 2 women, including actor Ashton Kutcher's girlfriend. Ashton's role in this was just as a witness. However, what Danny Masterson's ex-girlfriend is saying happened was Ashton Kutcher saw that there was blood, or what he said was a red substance, wine substance, around the door, and then he called Danny Masterson before he called the police. And he did that because he had tried to open the door, so he was worried that because his fingerprints were on the doorknob, it would look like he did it. Now, the DNA of the murderer was found on the victim. However, people still think this is strange. People think it's strange that he didn't call the police first, and at the very least, it makes you a bad person when someone is brutally murdered and your first instinct is to call your publicist and your team to make sure that you can distance yourself from it. People are saying that if some foul play happened involving Ashton Kutcher, nobody would be surprised, or we wouldn't be surprised. Now, that is so alleged. That is one of the most alleged things I've ever said on this podcast. I am not calling anyone a murderer who has not been convicted a murderer. He also left the scene while seeing blood on the floor or wherever he saw it, and Ashton Kutcher said that he showed up to pick her up for the date, who didn't answer the door, and when he looked inside, he saw blood stains that he thought were spilled wine. Now, if you looked inside, you definitely probably saw the body. If you didn't go all the way inside and you saw a bunch of blood everywhere, 1, why would you not make sure the person is okay, especially if it's someone you care about? But 2, I would 100% call the cops first. It wouldn't even be a thought. It would be instinctual panic mode. I'm freaking the fuck out. I need to call the cops right now. If it were me and it was my person or partner, I would definitely wait until police showed up. I wouldn't even think about if I'm going to be implicated, because my only thought would be, holy shit, oh my gosh, this person has been unalived and I need to do something about it. So that is suspicious, and at the very least, people are saying it makes you look like a bad person, that your first thought was about you. Apparently, Danny Masterson's wife cried when the sentencing was read. I don't know for what reason. I hope it is for the victims, but I don't believe it was. Editing me here with an update. Danny Masterson's wife, Bijou Phillips, is distraught after husband Danny Masterson's sentencing, but has, quote, no plans to divorce. I can't say I'm super surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if she was a victim herself, but I also wouldn't be surprised if she's scared of the science enthusiasts, or if maybe she just wants the money. You know, who really knows? I don't really know who she is. But all I can say is, after hearing what you've heard, I don't know how you wouldn't be scared to be around this person. So that's pretty much it. I think the sentence is well deserved. I think Mila Kunis and Ashton Kutcher and all the other people who made character witness statements should be ashamed of themselves. And it is denigrating the people that support you to assume that they are so stupid that they would believe that you would say, oh, well, we didn't mean to undermine the victims. Of course you did. Of course you did. You wanted your friend, your buddy of 25 years, your role model, to have a lesser sentence, which in and of itself is undermining the victims. There's no other motive behind that. And if you are a true friend, and if you are real friends with someone, you hold them accountable, especially if they're doing heinous stuff like this. So I'm disappointed, but I'm not surprised with the little dirty couple. I'm really not. I've never been a huge fan of them. I'm sorry. You can hate me if you want. I think Mila is a victim in this as well, and I hope one day she realizes that. And I do think Ashton Kutcher is worse than we think he is. He's done a lot of great work for sex trafficking, human trafficking, and all that. But I think we also have to question if it could be an overcompensation for some other poor behavior that we don't know about. And we have to leave it open for that. Because if you dedicate your life to working with victims, I don't know how you can excuse this. You can't be that blinded by your friend. I don't buy it. There's also an 8 passengers update. And wouldn't you know it, it's not a good one. The estranged husband of Ruby Franke has broken his silence over his wife's arrest, saying that her co-defendant and fellow YouTuber Jody Hildebrandt manipulated him and destroyed his family. He says she manipulated him in conjunction with Ruby, that she's kind of the spearhead toward essentially destroying his life and destroying his family. His lawyer, Mr. Kester. Oh my God. All of these publications need to be proofreading, because in the last one, the article said his name is Mr. Keister. Now it's Mr. Kester. That's so funny. Well, you are a Keister for representing them, so oops. We're hearing other information that she's done this to a number of families, and it wasn't until all this came to light that we blah 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 blah. So they're trying to pin it all on Jody, when, I'm sorry, but it seems like your wife let your 5-year-old go to school without food way before she met Jody, and took away her son's room for pulling a prank on his little brother, saying they were going to Disney World when they weren't. Took away his room for 7 months over that, made him sleep on a beanbag. He also says that emotionally she was controlling him. Kevin never had any reason to believe that his children were being abused, and if he had even one inkling that his kids were being abused, They were being abused while you were there, and that the separation wasn't for any other purpose than to figure out a way between him and Ruby to reunite their family, he would have been down there in 2 seconds. Okay, so follow up. You don't visit or call your kids like ever, because I'm pretty sure they would be like, hey dad, we're duct taped or something. So that means you just don't check on your kids. That's what that tells me. It tells me that you're saying something has to be wrong for you to check on them, but normally you're like, nah, they got it. They're 5. They basically should have 4 jobs and a retirement by now. They got it. I just know that when I become a parent, there's not going to be a single day that goes by where I'm not going to see my child. So womp womp, could have kept that one in the drafts, Kev. If you read everything that's in the media, Kevin's getting raked over the coals. Good. Kester told Law and Crime. But what people don't understand is that he is trying to preserve his marriage. Why? He was taking direction from her. You're not a freaking mindless zombie. If someone's like, hey, I was thinking, here's something kind of quirky. I duct tape your kids and then I just don't feed them. And then you respond with, oh, you're so silly, Jody. I'm really trying to preserve this marriage. So whatever you say, bud. How does that make sense? How does that make sense? So you expect your 5-year-old to remember her lunch every day, but you couldn't even be bothered to know the state of your children, and you're apparently so dumb that everything this disgraced therapist says, you're like, yep, sounds good. There's some audacity in this video, I'll tell you that. She's the one who asked him to leave the house and indicated that in order for him to be able to get back together with her, meaning Ruby, and be a family, that she was requesting that he leave the home and that he not contact her or the children. And you did it though, Kev. I'm sorry, am I in another dimension right now? Not even the good one we were talking about earlier. What? If some lady who doesn't even have a license anymore, on probation, was like, hey man, I know you love your family and stuff, enough that you abuse them publicly on an online platform for your financial gain, but the way to get back with your lady is to leave your own house and your kids and stop talking to us. Now, let me tell you that really reaffirms my theory from the previous video. And you know what? I'm just going to say this the way that I need to say it. Ruby and Jody are definitely eating box, okay? They're definitely in a little lover's relationship or some sick, twisted something. I have to say that that's alleged, but come on, I don't care if it's against the religion. The relationship is weird. She later told him that everything was blissful at home and it was so much better without him. And as a father or a parent in general, you should be like, what are you talking about, you lunatic? I want to be with my kids. Get out of my house. You know? It shouldn't be like oh, well, she said that my own kids are better without their father. She did use the word blissful. I love bliss. The Lord above loves bliss. So I guess I'll just give up my children. Yeah, I guess that's just what's gonna have to happen. Allegations were made about Miss Franke as early as 2020 with an online petition while her husband was still in the picture. Mr. Kester, I keep wanting to call him Keister. Mr. Bud says that. Mr. Kester says those who suspect Mr. Franke of being involved in the abuse need to see this case as quote unquote subjective to different parenting styles. Oh my gosh, Kevin. Oh, Kev, bring it in. Kev, who is your lawyer? You should be kicking him in the keister. Why did you let him say any of this? Why? Oh no. Why'd you go on this podcast, Mr. Lawyer? This is so bad. It goes on. As you know they do. Everybody says no one's ever written a perfect book on parenting. Kevin Franke has never been accused of physically abusing anyone, including his children, nor have there ever been any allegations that he was doing that. He doesn't condone that kind of thing, but my wife can do it. No, I don't want to hit the kid. That sounds like it sucks. I would rather my wife do it. That sounds more up her alley. He's a good dad. He just simply does not condone physical violence or that kind of treatment of children or anyone. So you would condone your children starving then? Would you not consider that physical? Okay, buddy. All right. So that's the statement. What a freaking doozy. Really should have just kept your little stupid mouth shut, Kevin and Ruby. I feel so bad for those kids. Very glad they got out of it. Ooh. Oh my gosh. So one of Ruby's sisters, Julie, made a video basically saying like, we knew Jody was no good, but you know, it is what it is. And then she said, We thought about telling her that if she continues to tell us the things that she learns from Jody, she shouldn't come to the family functions. And she's like, we never said it. We thought it though.
Jody Hildebrandt and her website or therapy style, I don't know what you want to call it, connections, was not a great resource. And we all saw it. We all felt weird about this Jody lady. We weren't comfortable with it. We didn't like it. We didn't like the teachings Ruby was bringing to the family functions. And we were this close to telling her, if you come to our family events anymore, we do not want to hear what you were learning through connections because we don't like it. We never did say that to her, but we thought it.
One of Ruby's daughters does say that they've tried to contact CPS over the years, trying not to be too hard on the sisters, but this family is just so off-putting. Like, I don't know how else to describe them. They just are. She then went on to say that Ruby's decline happened fast.
Anyway, so 3 years ago, Ruby and I hung out bottling tomatoes, and then a few weeks later, crap hit the fan, and she left the family.
Which, like I said, really reminds me of Lori Vallow. I'm really happy this story didn't end the same way because it sounds crazy. It really sounds insane. The sister also said that before Ruby cut the family off, she called their mom and went off on her for like 45 minutes about things that never happened. And Julie describes it as Ruby trying to make up memories from her childhood, trying to find something to be upset about, which I find very interesting.
She didn't even call me to say, hey, you know, Julie, you're doing this and this, and I don't like it. You're living your life in distortion, so I'm gonna have to take some time away from you. No, literally nothing. She did call my mom and yelled at my mom on the phone for 45 minutes and accused her of things that were not true. It was almost as if Ruby had been making up memories from her childhood. She was trying to grab at anything she could, and she would exaggerate on everything. So she started all of her lies back then, lying to everyone in her life.
I definitely think she needed mental health help, and Jody was obviously not a good resource for that. Her sister is also addressing all the people that said they should have done more by saying that because Ruby had cut the family off completely, they literally did not know what was going on.
I literally had no contact with her. She wouldn't respond to any texts or emails over the time that I tried reaching out to her. Never got a response from her.
Until one of Ruby's daughters was of age and filled them in. So wanted to notate that because I had mentioned that before. But then Julie coming in swinging with a miss because I had said in my last video that they all had their own platforms. Why were they not talking about it on their own platforms? And Julie said because their channels are to spread brightness and joy to people. And so that's why they didn't want to dampen the mood by talking about Ruby. How could you justify that knowing it could have got those kids help?
We are not going to let Ruby destroy another thing in our lives. We have our platforms where we try and bring brightness and positivity into other people's lives, and that is why we didn't talk about Ruby in our content. Yeah, we try and show the highs and lows of everyday family and parenting, but Ruby's topic was not supposed to be part of that content.
What is wrong with this family? Is it Utah? Is it them? Is it what is wrong? What's happening? It always happens in Utah. She then followed it by saying that it was not part of the content plan and it was none of our business. And she didn't know if the kids were still watching. Ma'am.
And it was none of your business. It was nothing that we needed to talk about. And I wasn't sure if her kids were maybe still watching these videos, and I didn't want to be not tactful and slander their mom and then have them watch those videos. That didn't sound like a nice thing to do either.
I just literally can't understand the mind of a family vlogger. I truly can't. Yeah, it's none of our business, but neither is the stuff that you consider the bright joy, your daily bright joy vlogging. That's not our business either. I don't need to see you brush your teeth. I don't need to see you take your kids to school. That's not my business either. What should have been the public, or at least the authorities' business, was child abuse. Like, my brain, it feels like it's exploding. So Ruby's other sister, Bonnie, also came out and said that the more she learns, the angrier she gets, and that she's disgusted with Ruby. Finally, we get a normal, sensible reaction.
I learned my feelings are turning more to anger. I am mad at what has happened. Beyond disgusted. We did not have access to anyone. My thoughts towards Ruby and Jody and Kevin and connections is that it was all bullcrap. It was
bullcrap. She's cursing over here.
Of this thing that they created. I don't agree with how extreme they are on everything. I knew they were weird. I knew that they were off. Those are the things that we kept quiet about, because what was I going to say? What was I going to do? I was not going to come out and publicly say that I don't like my sister and I don't like what she's doing and I think she's weird.
Yeah, but you could have come out and said that there was abuse happening. What do you mean? What do I say? And now we're back to swing and a miss. And she is saying that they did everything that they could legally for everyone saying that they didn't. I don't agree with that, but I also don't know what they did. So, I don't know.
That's where the part of behind the scenes, we did everything that we could. We did everything legally that we could do. And for those that were saying that they'd go in and bust down doors and do whatever it took to end up in jail, because from jail, I can't do anything. So I still stand by what I said, is that I did everything that I could with the knowledge that I had and within the legal rights.
She did also say that they're putting the blame on Kevin because he's the only one that could have stopped it. I mean, she says she also doesn't know what the husband was doing while they were separated.
The one person that could have done something within his legal right was Kevin. We had zero contact with him. It was Kevin's job to check in on things, and he did not. So it is difficult to have the blame put on us when these are not the actions of us. These are not the actions that we did. I get people wanting to put blame somewhere. I do. They want to blame someone. There's only one person that could have helped, and he didn't. What he was doing all that time when him and Ruby were separated is beyond me.
Ruby could have stopped it. Obviously, it didn't sound like she was of sound mind, so maybe that's true. But y'all are literally saying that you could have done more, but it wasn't in your content schedule. That's basically that on that. Oh my gosh. It just gets worse and worse. It really does. This video is already so long, so I'm gonna wrap it up here. So I'm disappointed all around. I'm fuming. I need to calm down a little bit. I'm gonna go cuddle with my cats. Leave me your green screen recommendations below. We're almost at 300 already. I cannot believe it. Thank you so much. And let me know anything else you want me to talk about. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Listen to my music, and I will see you next time.
Yeah, I know you want me. You better get in line. I'm everybody's dream girl. See me when you lay your head down at night. Baby, just keep it pushing. I don't need your double taps. If I'm being honest, I'ma leave you on red. If I'm being honest, I'ma leave you on red.